Hi there. I'm just going to briefly go over what it takes to start a business in Mississippi. This is sort of just meant to be a sort of a general overview of the few functions and filings that you can make here using our site and also on the Secretary of State website. It should be noted before we start that Mississippi is a bit of an anomaly in that it requires that you file online. Most states will allow for like a PDF download and you can submit it in the mail. However, you'll need to create an account with the Mississippi Secretary of State pretty much before you do anything. At any rate, let's plow ahead here. So we have corporation, limited liability company, and partnership tutorials. We're going to cover those three entity types, and then foreign and domestic, and a few other variants within those. As I said before, the Mississippi Online Registration, if you're looking to find a tutorial on how to register, you can click here. Although going to the Secretary of State website, it's pretty self-explanatory as you move your way through. Search for a name. So we ask or we recommend that all applicants first check the Secretary of State name database before filing for formation or applying for authority to transact business, just to make sure that their name isn't already registered by another entity, because you'll probably get rejected if that's the case. So you can perform a business entity search, and that'll take care of that. That's also the first step that we recommend in filing, which is, as it says here, perform a business entity search. Also, a name reservation can be used to put your name on hold for 6 months, which is actually more than most states will allow. It's usually more like 3, but they've provided 6 months, which is pretty great. And it's $25 for a name reservation. So again, there's a tutorial there that kind of goes more in depth, and we really recommend that you take the time to click on these tutorials and read a little bit more about the filing processes, because we go step by step using screenshots to really give you an idea of what it takes to file in the state of Mississippi. The next step is, of course, figuring out what sort of entity you want to form. Seems straightforward enough. Here we have all the different entities available, with the exception of business trusts in the state of Mississippi. So, as I said, take the time to review those tutorials. They're very straightforward and thorough. Once you finish filling out the formation documents, this is of course done online. You'll have two different options. One, you can submit them online, of course, and pay the filing fee by credit card or by e-check. Alternatively, you can print them off. They have a link in which you can print off the actual document and then attach a check to it and submit it in the mail. Why you wouldn't just do it online at this point, I'm not exactly sure, but that is an option if you would like. The filing fees for all the different entity types are listed here. I'm not going to go through them now because I'm assuming you can read them, but they're all around the same if you're domestic, with exception to limited liability partnerships, which is $250. Foreign entities, as usual, will be paying more than domestic entities. I already spoke about name reservations. It'll cost $25. There's another link to our tutorial. A certificate of existence, you probably have heard of it as a certificate of good standing, maybe of status, sometimes of fact as well, but I believe that's a different thing altogether. But this is just proof of legitimacy and legality in the state of Mississippi. If you plan on expanding your business outside of Mississippi borders, often financial institutions will ask for this certificate as well. It costs $25 in this state. Again, we have a tutorial for how to acquire one here. There's 3 different agreements that you can use, either corporate bylaws if you're forming a corporation, LLC operating agreement, and partnership agreement. This is essentially used just to relay the various rules and regulations that you're going to incorporate into your business structure. That's not legally required in Mississippi, as it's not in most states, but again, like in most states, we totally recommend that you take the time to review our template and consider incorporating it into your organization, because it's often the only legal proof of these of the binding agreement between members of your business. Finally, the employer identification number. This is something that is required of newly formed entities if they plan on hiring employees, opening checking or savings accounts, filing for corporate credit cards, This just is a number that's issued by the IRS to identify legitimate tax-paying businesses. It's very straightforward. We have an online and PDF tutorial here for you. Hope that was helpful. Again, take the time to review some of our more in-depth tutorials for more information. Best of luck.